Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And Jacob Wild, too.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we find ourselves on the cusp of Disney's big venture into the world of streaming, even courting a war in the process, we thought it'd be nice to stay up to date on the ever-growing catalog and rule on what's a must or a bust on Disney Plus. All right. Oh boy. So guys, Monsters at Work episodes 1 and 2. This is pretty long awaited. This is, correct me if I'm wrong here, but this is the very first long form animated series that we've gotten out of D Plus. Am I right?
We have like the Bad Batch going on right now.
Oh, you're right. Okay. So this is the second long form. All right. My bad. Well, this is the first one with classic Disney characters. So you know what? I'm gonna count it. All right. We have Pink Pearl in the comments here. So yeah, Monsters at Work. What do y'all think?
Yeah, on the whole, I'm loving this premise and this show concept so much. You know, I love, like working with the Monsters Inc. world building. You know, we have the, I basically it's like we have the world building of Monsters Incorporated, and it meets the quality of kind of the defeated expectation thing from that I really loved in Monsters University. Basically the Scanlan of it all. So I think it's kind of a really great mix of those two things that we've gotten in both of those movies, and I just love that it's a very human story with monsters that I'm very excited and I'm very invested in. I mean, in terms of the episodes individually, I think episode 1 very solid pilot, and episode 2 is kind of a great kind of settling in for MIFT and what we're in.
Episode 2, there was one very specific geek out moment in terms of the world building that we'll get to for me.
Yeah.
All right. Jacob, what do you think?
I'm pretty enjoying. I'm actually kind of enjoying this so far. I mean, when it comes to like straight to television adaptations, they're not always terrible, but they don't always have the best track record. But I think and maybe it doesn't like live up to the original show, but at least keeps its spirit going in a way that's like continues the legacy of Monsters Inc., but does something kind of new with it, but also like blending, as Dragon said, like the spirit of Monsters Inc. with that of Monsters University in a way. Like it's like so far I'm kind of liking it. Like a lot of the humor is on point, and also importantly the heart is too. So you can definitely tell they're putting their love and care into this show, and the characters are, and I like all the characters so far. So I think it's a win so far, if you ask me.
All right, so one of the things that's kind of tricky with Monsters, Inc. is doing the sequel where, like, the film has such a gloriously, like, ambiguous little ending where it doesn't necessarily call out for a sequel, right? It's kind of like, okay, like, that's a nice little bow. We don't really need to know what happens after that. So what I like about this is that, unlike The Incredibles 2, I don't think this needs any sort of a time jump. And I actually think that this really dives into, okay, like immediately after the first movie, like to the point where it's literally like the day after. What would it be like for new recruits who literally like went to Monsters University to learn how to scare, and then all of a sudden there's this huge status quo shift in the world. I gotta say, I love that just as a general premise. It's a great little hook. Mm-hmm. And as far as the workplace stuff goes, all I can say is it's super relatable, and you gotta love Henry Winkler in a Pixar project.
Of course.
All right.
Yeah, just to clarify something with the setting, it's really great about it, is that it's right before the ending of Monsters Inc.
Oh, okay, so it's like before the montage.
Well, it's before like the whole goodbye boo scene. It's right.
Gotcha,
it's like this. Right. It's the idea. This is what happens right after Waternoose is arrested. To basically, we're walking onto the laugh floor.
When I say the montage, I don't know if that's the right word, but like the little glimpse we get of like, oh look, it's all running smoothly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Floor. Yeah.
I want to say epilogue, but it's very definitively an end. Yeah.
basically it takes place in the transitional period.
Yeah, thank you, Jacob.
Yes.
All right.
Right. Yeah, so it's I just love that we're addressing that. It's the illogical logic of this would not be a smooth transition going from one mission statement to another. Let's spend some time with that.
So with that in mind, let's just do you guys want to go through like the returning characters first, and then dive into the new characters for this first episode?
Sounds like a good idea.
I feel like talking through this first episode is going to be a lot of character stuff. So, all right. So Mike and Sully, they instantly get promoted, guys. They're on the rise.
Yeah, I really like how out of their depth that they are. They're running a company, going through the major transition, which I love how it's paralleled to our new blood. That is also kind of adapting from the transition from the kind of the boots on the ground versus like our average Joes now running the place, which they were very not cut out for.
Yeah, Pink Pearl, I absolutely agree with what you said right here. It's relatable. Everyone has been awkward at a job they expected a lot from and not completely let you down at first. Grows on you and you learn to like it and you're passionate about it. Yeah, absolutely, Pink Pearl, absolutely. I think you nailed it on the head with kind of what I liked about these first two episodes, this first little arc here. I also got a little bit of a vibe of the Tank Gang, but we'll get there.
Well, mainly in the second one we have initiation, but yeah.
Yeah, when we have the screw thing, but or I'm sorry, not the screw, the nut. Yeah.
Screw the nut.
Wrench the nut.
Wrench the nut. Wrench the nut.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, that is very Fish Gang.
Yeah, so speaking of our old gang, our old favorites, Celia, she's moving up.
Celia is one of my favorite parts of this. I feel like she's such a natural evolution from how she was in the first movie.
Yeah, like as Mike even put it, a long overdue promotion.
Also, can I just say we're kind of jumping ahead here, but just a note on the Celia thing. I love how Sully is now calling Mike Googly Bear.
Just taking those little digs,
Announcement. He's like, we could go back to Harryhausen's. No, Mike and Sully are banned for life.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I want Harryhausen's in a Disney park, man.
We all do.
Anyways. The animatronic octopus sushi chef right in the center. All right.
So let's see. I mean, some of the other returning favorites. We got Fungus.
Yes.
Unfortunately, not voiced by Frank Oz, but still Fungus. That's cool.
I mean,
Yeah,
understandable.
it was nice to see him.
Yeah. Frank Oz
Honestly,
is like
when I saw him, I kind of got a rush of nostalgia. I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that guy."
Yeah, he's moved on from being Randall's crony to now he's Mike Wazowski's crony. But there's nothing personal. You missed out on a ride in my car.
Oh God, I love that. That's a little bit like, okay, like yeah, that's what I like about this, man. They're almost kind of being tongue in cheek about how on the line to the continuity they are.
Yeah, I'll tell you an obscure pull from Monsters Inc. I really like that we gave her a role this time around. Miss Flint, the orientation, the orientation lady who trains the scares with the simulator. She runs the simulator. Like that, she's coming back a little bit more. Her area was very much the big climax of Monsters Inc. So it's very much kind of memorable how we set her up. So doing stuff with her, and it's Bonnie Hunt. That's cool,
Okay, so big thing we got to talk about, guys.
Yeah.
This is going to be a make or break. A make or break.
Right.
What do we think of Rose?
I think it's hilarious. I love Mike Wazowski. I love the realization of Mike Wazowski so much. Of like, oh my God, Roz has a sister. And not only
he's like that has a sister.
It's like Roz is Roz's little sister.
Oh man, it's like they somehow found a way to make the concept of the Roz character even funnier.
Yep.
Still voiced by Bob Peterson.
Of course.
I just love it. It's like we're gonna change things up, but still
like just barely.
Yep.
Like just enough that it's like an in-continuity change, but it's like it's pretty much the same character.
Yeah, here's something I got to shout out though, because I don't think a lot of people are going to catch this, but for those who may not be aware, Monsters Inc. and particularly Monsters Inc. I think they might have. There's a chance they might have had a small role in University. I think at this, he passed in 2016, so I think he probably was there. Needleman and Smitty, the custodial staff of Monsters Incorporated.
Oh, right, yeah.
So Dan Gerson voiced them hilariously, and was a beloved member of the Pixar crew. And he passed in 2016 after I believe while he was on Cars 3, getting ready for that, which came out the following year. Anyway, so there's a lovely little tribute in that they have a sound alike for Needleman and Smitty, but you'll notice the trash can they push around now has like a logo on it called Gerson Industries, which is really cute.
That's
like
really nice.
Yeah, it's a lovely little tribute. I was really charmed by it when I found it. When I found out about it.
Yeah, they were originally considering not to use them because out of respect, but they decided he would want them to continue even past his death. So but they threw it that nice tribute, and it was nice.
Yeah, it's cute. All right, so let's talk about the new blood.
Really quick, I'm going to have to throw in Roz's crazy sister. All right.
And apparently Rose is not the happy sister.
Yeah, I would like to think that Roz is the one that's fun at parties.
of all things.
Right. Oh, God. Yeah, the new crew. So this is one of the things that I kind of thought was, if Monsters University was a show, I think I'd like those characters a lot more. Because they all had potential. It's just, it's a short feature-length movie, and not a lot of them got really fleshed out. This, on the other hand, I can already feel the potential of okay, I'm not sure if I'm in love with all of these characters just yet, but I'm really attached to at least a couple of them.
Yeah, I love our lead in this show so much. I think it's one of the great choices of this series. Again, to parallel his journey with Mike and Sully's.
They're not just doing okay, let's see what Sully's up to after the Big Boo thing.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of a risk with so we're not necessarily following the main characters as the main characters, which again is that's why a lot of people are showing up to the thing. But I love that we're taking the gamble. No, this universe and these characters can be really interesting. We spend a whole movie looking at kind of what goes into these monsters and why we root for them. So let's really double down on that. Let's have kind of a different POV character that kind of embody a little bit of Mike and Sully, especially after we've learned a lot about what went into him at Monsters University. It's really nice. I just love this character. He's having his scared dreams utterly crushed, and I just thought it was. We just have that scene with Professor Knight at the top that already ingratiates me to this character. With Professor Knight, voiced by, of course, by the wonderful Alfred Molina, coming back, and
oh yeah,
it was so great.
It's a nice touch.
Yeah, I personally have kind of a kinship with this character, because it's sort of I kind of feel kinship because it's almost it's like the what if, it's okay, let's say what if all my dreams came true. They haven't, but let's just say they did. All my dreams came true, and I'm about to step into the atrium of Pixar. But it's 2020. Pandemic. That's pretty much what this guy's going through. Okay, so I just love his whole worldview, all of his goals are in a tailspin as everything he's prepared his whole life for the job that no longer exists, and he's just stuck in facilities. It's just such an insanely great idea for this character. I love it.
And only because he made an offhand remark about his parents running a hardware store.
Yep.
All right, so a couple things here. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just thinking, I love the guy that just you could just tell the guy who said him just wanted to get on with his job. He's like, your parents at a hardware store? Great, go to the job now.
It's Mr. Crummyham.
Okay, so Honeybee's in the chat. Hey there, Honeybee. Happy to see you. Let's see. I'd like to see returning characters from University. Yeah, even if it's just a cameo. I mean, Dean Hardscrabble would be the big one for me for Monsters University.
We already had one with Professor Knight, so it's possible.
Sure.
Yeah.
Also, Atomic Beast mentions looks different from when the Nostalgia Critic did his version of Monsters Inc. 2. I'm curious, did either of you catch that?
No.
Oh God, I think. Wait, when you said Nostalgia Critic, does he mean? Doesn't he mean just one of the what if movie pitches?
Yeah, the what if movie pitches. Yeah.
I might have seen that, but that's the thing I can't recall.
I thought it was really good. He basically made Boo. It was like an adult Boo who had become a child psychologist, and then there's this YouTuber. It's basically
I didn't see it.
It's basically kind of like taking on the idea of kids today are a lot more hardened than they were, and so anyways, but yeah, and of course the big thing is Boo is an adult child psychologist, which I think is a really good idea. Okay, anyways, Honeybee says, I need my Monsters Inc. world building.
We all do.
Okay, oh god, sweet! I'm about to start my first day as a cast member at Superstar Limo. Wait, why is it closed?
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, Dragon, I really do like I said, it's just the immediacy of like, okay, like we're in the thick of what's going on in the movie, and it's affecting this main guy. It's like, I thought that was a liver.
And it's like he just showed up late to the party, you know. He just showed up.
Yeah.
It's just
like,
great.
like the day after everything went under.
I just love him walking in. Was like, it's the fact that we, the audience, knows hopes are about to be dashed, just makes my heart go out to him.
It's my first day as a scarer, or your last.
I just thought it was just an insanely smart choice. Speaking of just kind of, let's talk about the MIFT crew. Let's talk about them. I love with MIFT, which we have with the episode title next, which is Meet MIFT. I just love in general. MIFT just signifies disappointment, of the disappointment of Tyler Tuskman. Mm-hmm. Of just like he's miffed at this whole situation, so he's stuck with MIFT.
Yep.
So Fritz.
Fritz, the leader, is his crazy college buddy named Val, the regional supervisor who is probably out to kill him.
Right. Well, that's Duncan. Duncan's out to kill him.
No, I'm going. I'm going by characters.
Right. Let's see. We got Cutter. Cutter's great. Cutter's actually it's Mama Imelda from Coco. It's Alana Ubach.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. I love
Nice.
Alana Ubach. Well, I'm not butchering her last name, but yeah, she's fantastic in things when she pops up. So yeah, it's the fact that we're even some recurring Pixar players here and there, like Bonnie Hunt and Alana Ubach. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love her crab design too. I think it's really cool with the way it moves. And of course, we don't have water noose. I do wonder though, one of my favorite things I've ever seen with the kind of post Monsters Inc. was they did a comic series, very brief, about kind of like adventures after the first movie, kind of like a sequel comic territory. And they had this great thing with water noose. I think he broke out of prison once, and it was like this whole thing was a really like they use water noose very effectively. And I don't necessarily need to see water noose, but it'd be interesting we addressed it maybe a hair or two.
Water noose is still one of the best Pixar twist villains ever, in my opinion.
I think he's great. I just love the betrayal between Water Noose and Sully so much. I just love like the grandfather.
The fact that he's like one of the most humanized twist villains, but at the same time, he is literally the stuff of nightmares.
I know, it's the fact that you looked at him so warm and grandfatherly,
exactly.
Yet when that turn happens,
magic trick, Pixar magic, animation magic. Anyways,
too bad they can't get James Coburn to voice him though.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm hesitant to say I want to see him back, just to maybe have like Sully visit him and ask him like what he's doing wrong or something like that. Because that's the interesting thing about this. I wonder if they're going to dig into this at all. They might not, but just I wonder if we're going to acknowledge that Sully.
I mean, it's like it'd be huge if we got a follow up to the Boo thing. You know what I mean?
that's going to be if they do a season 2, then they might have to contemplate that sort of thing. But in season 1, right now, I think they have like a very carved out niche of we're filling in this blank. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like with Water Noose, though, imagine like Sully just at a point in this season, maybe at a low point, he's just thinking, I have no idea what I'm doing in running a company. And on Water Noose, his solution to the energy crisis, which right now they're in the thick of all the power outages and everything, is okay. Well, we're going to, Basically, I'm going to steal kids. I'm going to steal their screams until they're all used up, and then throw them back throw them back, or not. Maybe I'm just going to keep the kids, which is a horrific solution. So that's the thing. Like you see what it's like, Sullivan. There's no answer. Which, of course, the giant laughter solution will be the kind of the godsend to that problem.
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting how this show not kind of acknowledges that, like, yes, like laughter is more potent, but you still need a lot of it, and if you don't have a lot of workers, there's bound to be power outages.
Like, here's something we're bound to do in this season. If you notice, in Monsters, Inc., the laugh canisters are giant because laughter is more powerful than scream energy, and they're going to have to build those giant canisters. We're going to have to acknowledge that for an episode. That's what there's something.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of like very minute mechanical issues that I'm excited to see played around with.
And the MIFT crew is going to be in the thick of that.
Exactly, because Monsters Inc. is one of those bits of world building where like the mechanism of how everything goes down is one of the more interesting parts of it all.
Yeah.
All right.
let's see. Well, I think the big stand. I'm sorry, Tiki, go on.
Yeah, just to go through the characters. Now, Rob mentioned that the Mindy Kaling character and the Henry Winkler character were a bit like sensory overload because they were kind of just pretty loud and boisterous. How do you guys feel about that?
I don't agree with that at all, at least for Fritz. I mean, I think we need a little bit more with Val. Val was just a little more like we're just kind of throwing something at you.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not sure
Monsters
how
University.
I feel about Val just yet. Yeah,
Mindy Kaling's kind of an acquired taste, but I have faith that she'll win people over.
But yeah, I'm with you on the I'm with you on the Winkler.
She wasn't actually the first choice to voice her. I think she was originally announced to be voiced by Kelly Marie Tran too.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, I don't know when or why they replaced her, but they did.
All right,
but yeah, Winkler. I mean, I love his just like he's obviously enthusiastic. I love how like enthusiastic Fritz is.
Yeah.
He's the distant uncle of the group.
Okay, yeah. So I do wonder if the current monsters inspire imaginary friends. It's an interesting Pixar theory. It'd be wild if they actually went there. I very much doubt they will, but I definitely think that's an interesting part of the Pixar theory canon for sure.
That is an interesting. I never thought about that. Yeah, if we're in the same world as Monsters Inc.
Yeah, and of course, people are now talking about like how Luca fits into that. Like if the Luca fish are like technically monsters or what? You know,
that's.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That goes a little overboard.
It's like. I can entertain the Pixar theory just to a very small extent. Like if you actually want to, basically, if you want to be very logical, like everything but something like Cars, if you take that out of the equation, I can buy them being in a shared universe up until a point like that, and Luca now complicates things because of the stylized art style. It's
right, yeah.
Anyway,
oh God, I like this. Monkey saying he's imagining old water news PSAs a la Cap and Homecoming. So I could totally see that.
Something really funny about that though was the orientation. Again, it's like day one since the changeover, so they don't have like a new orientation video figured out. So this is Mr. Crummingham just like interjecting.
Mm-hmm.
It's like no, that guy's in prison now.
Not so esteemed anymore.
Yep, it's very funny. I think the standout scene. I'm sorry, dude. What the character also Banana Bread. How do you feel about Banana Bread?
Pink Pearl is really liking Banana Bread. I was kind of hating Banana Bread until I saw the payoff for him, and then I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Before that, I was kind of just like he's just making fart joke noises. But then with the payoff, with the whole like, oh, this guy's got a brilliant insight, and I was like, I see what you're doing there, Pixar. That's clever.
I'm worried about Duncan. I think I hope Duncan.
I'm interested in Duncan. I mean, obviously he's meant to be our Randall stand-in, obviously, but I'm interested to see where they go. I don't think they did enough with Randall and Monsters University, so I really would like to see I do think a rivalry and jealousy at the workplace is really juicy material for an antagonist, especially over the course of a season. So I think he has potential.
I just want to. I'm hoping that there's a payoff. I hope we see like an arc. I don't want to just be like the same joke. That's all. But we'll see. I'm hoping you're right.
Sure.
Let's see. Okay, so again, Cutter is like the running gag. We're talking about all the people who had a horrible end in MIFT. Like the guy was flattened and just his hair is left. Put it into a candle.
Watching the second episode, I was like, how many people died in this?
No, I love it. So let's see. I think there's a standout scene we should talk about before you guys want to transition. So let me know when you guys. Okay, let's get into it.
Okay. I'm sorry. What's the standout scene in episode 1?
Well, basically, so Tyler, we have this thing where Tyler sneaks onto the scare floor, trying to get laughs, kind of bluffs his way on there, and it's a disaster. Like we kind of play with a little bit of something we saw in University, where like the kid interactions, like he breaks the window in the kid's room, and there's like, oh god, it's like I think someone's trying to steal my car.
Right.
It's a chaos, and then the kid runs out onto the floor.
Yeah, they really play around with with potential other ways these monster interactions could go. too.
Yeah. It's almost like another boost situation for a second. And
for a second, yeah, like for a hot minute, it's a boost situation. It's a 23-19.
Yeah, but it's utterly insane. But then we round it out to this beautiful kind of admission of like both from Sully and Tyler here of like, yeah, we've all had a rough first day, and it just relates to, I think, the most glorious idea of the show is like it relates to the mailroom thing. Like, yeah, me and Mike, we worked our way out of the mailroom to get to cross that line, which is really important to Mike. So I just love that it's, yeah.
And how Sully was the one who recommended Tyler in the first place.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. which is really nice. And all this inspires Mike to start a comedy class so we can help monsters like Tyler, so we can actually get on the scare for not cause a disaster like this.
All right. That leads to episode 2.
Yes.
Okay. So there's 2 things I really want to point out about episode 2, and then we can kind of spin off from there.
Okay.
Number 1, Billy Crystal doing the energy drink Mike Wachowski voice is fucking hysterical.
I knew
oh my god. Oh, it's amazing. Number 2, I love that you get to see the mechanisms under the doors. Holy shit.
Yeah, I geeked out about that a lot. I'm the gadget nut, though. That's why.
Dragon, that to me was like this show's equivalent to like Mando with the oh my god, we're seeing the inside of the Jawa cruiser.
Yep. Sandcrawler,
yeah. No, I mean that was big, man. I mean, I know it's simple, but just seeing the inside, like seeing how those doors work, and a little bit more of a deconstruction, it was so cool. All right, but other than that, let's kind of like loop back around with the episode.
Well, something we should talk about because we haven't mentioned this with either of them. What do you feel about the opening theme? Like the opening is very indicative.
I love the opening.
Me
theme.
Too. Yeah, it's doing kind of like an acapella.
Yep. Dominic Lewis actually did all that. The composer of the show did all the acapella.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's great. It's great. And I also love how stylized it is. I love how quick it is. It's great. I think it fits the show very well.
Also, we meet Tyler's mom at the top of this, who seems really nice. Played by Aisha Tyler. She's really funny. You know, like from Archer and everything. Yeah.
And she even acknowledges, like, I'll say it, they're weird.
And again, like moments like this, the top, like I'm rooting for the kid to cross that laugh floor line. You know, I'm just like Mike did. I'm rooting for this kid. I will
say, like, from a story point of view, I think they're putting a little bit too much emphasis on oh, don't worry, I'm only going to be here temporary, guys. Like, don't worry, like don't put too much stock into me. Like, honestly, I feel like that's just kind of like, all right, like I get it. I know exactly how this is going to go down. He's going to he's going to grow to really appreciate the the crew, and then there's probably going to be some sort of lows misunderstanding, and then they all come together, and I don't know. I feel like it's being very telegraphed as far as the art goes. Maybe, but we've had some, matchstick moments and subversions from Pixar and this sort of stuff. Very
so
true.
I don't know.
Very true.
Maybe you might be right.
I mean, as of now, I'm just very much predicting that the ending of the show is just going to be Tyler kind of just being way down with his crew and being the best fixer he can be. But
yeah. Oh, should we talk about the initiation gags?
Yeah, well, like I said, the initiation gags very much gave me a tank gang,
shark bait.
Yeah, exactly. Not in a bad way, man. I love the tank gang.
Yeah, like, and even him had the flames, kind of like Mount Wanahakalu.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
I love the inflatable, like arm flailing 2-man flame thing that we have in this conveyor belt. Like you're crossing the threshold through the
door. and Cutter back there with real fire.
Yes. Oh God.
It's like no one's ever got hurt except for that one guy. He caught fire. It was beautiful.
Yep. Again, Cutter's really growing on me, man.
That was like the point I realized, like, wait, how many people have died in this thing?
Wrench the nut. Wrench the nut.
God.
Yeah, I love the payoff with Wrench the Nut, where you kind of save the day, but also that really sweet kind of coda thing at the end.
All right, so then of course we get Billy Crystal on an energy drink bender, and it's fucking amazing.
I love the eye animation on it.
Yes.
Remember, Tiki, it's a 36.5-hour energy drink.
Not as much as 13 and a quarter, but less than 72 hours.
I love the coffee gag before that too, where he stirs and he's like using Mike's finger.
It tastes like someone's finger. Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Also, just humble brag, I've been off caffeine for about a week and a half now, so I feel very proud about that, and this episode kind of solidifies that.
Like, I got complimented. Well, today I got compliment from the COO of my company.
Uh-huh. But yeah, just Mike doing the fucking comedy class, hopped up on caffeine, is honestly one of the funniest things I've ever seen in anything Pixar. It's so good. Oh my god. It's just good to have Billy Crystal back in top form, man, because I sat through Billy Crystal's weird kind of vanity project that he did, and I don't know, man, that thing was like, it was okay. It had some decent Billy Crystal moments in there, but it was way more of like a drama. It felt kind of like a low-rent version of Funny People or something. And this is Billy Crystal on top form, man. This is like peak Billy Crystal.
I keep telling you, check out 700 Sundays if you want to see him in top form with the Passion Project.
All right.
All right, let's see. Yeah, but I love the reason why Mike takes the energy drink. There's the idea that, again, he's powering all of Monstropolis because of the scream shortage, and again, he has to pull a double.
I love that he's like totally like in his element with the laughing thing. Like he's the pro there.
Yeah, and he's living his dreams from Monsters University. Only now he can actually kind of play in the big leagues. He can make people laugh, and also he's competing with himself and Lanky.
Oh my god!
How he's first, second, and fourth place.
I'm not sure how I feel about Lanky.
What do you mean? He's got a spinning bow tie. What don't you like about Lanky? What's wrong with you?
Jesus, we just don't have much to go on from him just yet. I don't dislike him.
It's a spinning bow tie. What's wrong with that?
All right.
Okay, guy.
Anyway, let's see. So the big draw of this episode is the 1320 sequence. It's a great idea. We have what happens if Mike goes in there. He's already going in and out with this energy drink.
I love just the little beat of like, don't go in there, Mr. Wazowski. Don't go in there. I'm going in. I'm going in. I'm going to do it.
I love the logic here of if a monster goes into a door and there's a power outage, they're going to be in deep trouble. So there's a code ready for trapped monsters. In this case, the monster we really care about. Like, no, not Mike. We saw what happened last time he got trapped. No.
Right.
So MIFT, the MIFT crew proves their assault, proves their merit here, and Tyler gets to see it up close and sees them in action. Actually gets to help save the day. And we get all the cool stuff like the tech of the door systems and the pit. Oh my god, the pit.
Yeah, the pit is amazing.
The fact you thought you knew how this world worked. Wrong. There's more to it. It was cool.
All right.
All right, let's see. And Banana Bread's moving on up. He's moving on up to the scare floor because as some comments, kids love fart sounds. They love.
No, I just love that it's just like he's got a sophisticated take. I love that it's not even like any one thing. It's just kind of his overall take on the humor.
It's more like his opinions on comedy.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And his real name is Winchester.
Yes, yes. His middle name must be Sam or Dean.
All right. I think that's just about it with this show, right?
Well, what do you think about the song, the comedy class song at the end?
I mean, I like it a lot. It's Billy Crystal doing his thing.
It's like Mike Wazowski's Make 'Em Laugh.
Exactly.
If I heard correctly, it was actually written by Randy Rogel.
Oh, Randy Rogel, yeah.
I mean, I could be mistaken, or I might have misread that, but I mean, that's what I heard. I mean, it kind of works. Actually, it kind of sounds like something he would write.
Yeah, no, I but okay. Pink Pearl mentioned something I gotta mention here. So yeah, we gave Tyler an engraved wrench, which I love the money shot at the end here. Once Banana Bread moves on up, like he got a little desk, and like on the desk we have the wrench. We got the the lug nut from earlier. That's kind of like I love everything. Oh no, we're gonna be crushed about the lug nut. No, well, it's a lug nut's gone. It comes back. It's like a sweet little like welcome kind of image for like the drooler cooler and everything. Yeah, it's a nice last shot. Yeah.
Monkey says the knock joke is an absolute highlight.
Yes. Police
in this song.
That's nice.
All right, guys, some final thoughts. What?
We don't do the final thoughts anymore, Tiki. We mixed it, remember?
Okay, sorry, my bad,
Yeah,
my
just
bad.
thank the folks. Shout out the people.
All right. I'm sorry, folks. I'm still getting used to the no final thoughts thing. My bad. Okay, I'm creature of habit. Okay, so big thanks to Pink Pearl, Honeybee, Monkey. Let's see, Atomic Beast. Anyone else? I don't think.
I think those are all of them.
I think
Yeah, I
that's
think
everyone. All
we
right.
got everyone.
Big thanks to all y'all. Now, shameless self-promotion time. We're actually going to be going live for our first Christmas of July of the season, and it's a big one. It's DuckTales Last Christmas. So if you want to see us all recap that episode in the spirit of Christmas in July, which is going on 8 seasons, by the way. Holy crap. Catch us at the top of the hour, and we would like to keep this conversation going, and y'all are awesome. Okay, so finally I get to be on the podcast and share my final thoughts. Wait, what? That's funny. All right, well, that'll do it for us this week as we holster our remotes till the next installment calls for the draw. Mano y mano. Just Plus and us.
Mifter.
Wrench the nut. Wrench the nut. Wrench the nut.